expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and Your Sports Network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Tuesday. Ooh, geez, names of days are just going all together. Tuesday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartel. Ty, you need to stop this,
At least we don't got the names under us this time, so it
which
doesn't
is
look
weird. We
bad.
really should.
But nonetheless, yes, it's a Tuesday edition of Running Point and
least you know what
jam-packed
day it is.
show as well.
At least you know what day it is.
Yeah, I got it all on track here. We're
As
good.
you said, it is a packed show today with guests. We're going to be talking to a lot of Astro Falcon 16U players, but also we're going to be getting into track and field to talk to a state champion from United and his coach. We're going to be talking to Caleb Nastari at 1:15 and Jordan Rask from United Track at 1. And then that's going to be right square in the middle of Drew Kashak coming on at 12:45. Anthony Treveri from Astro Falcons U coming on at 1:30. And Dylan Mancini from the Astro Falcons 16U team coming on at 1:45. So pretty much, and from 12:45 to the end of the show, we have you covered with interviews.
Yeah, from multiple different sports too, and we got some state champions too, and the Astro Falcons in 16U, which I believe are still currently leading the Hernandez division too, and that one's a close race.
We could update the standings, but the 16U has been out all week off, so
It's
getting
tonight.
back in action tonight. But it's been a minute. It's been a minute since 16U got to play on the grand stage.
Yeah, so I mean they get to defend then their lead, you would say, then in the standings, and this should be an interesting end of the season or second half of the season, I guess you would say, because there's a lot of teams gunning for that top spot.
A lot of teams, especially in that Hernandez division. It's real compact. There's a lot of teams right there. And the Astro Falcons got to put in some work. They're 5-4, so they got to put in some work to separate themselves from the pack.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, tonight's game too, they're going to be playing against Nightline, so this should be an interesting one as well, because you look at the standings over in that Hernandez division. Nightline 3-7, they're at the bottom of the division, but you see 5-4 Astro. Not that many games Nightline has to make up, and it could start a turnaround in the second half of the season with a win tonight. So Nightline's looking for a big win over Astro, and Nightline, for some reason, in all kinds of areas, has been competitive against Astro this season.
Well, that segues us right into the results from last night from Class B. Let's go look at them and get you the final scores. And it was a wild night. There were no games that you could say were completely uncompetitive. But we'll start with the Dura Edge offense exploding into a 9-4 victory over Whiting.
Yeah, and I mean Dura Edge showcasing once again that they can bring it, man. They're 8-5 on the season now, and I mean they've scored 80 runs on the year, and that's good enough for third in offensive numbers over at Bobstein Park. So they've showcased time and time again that their offense is capable of putting some runs on the board.
Athletics took care of Ballistic Baseball 7-2 in 18U action last night, so they continue to roll.
And that was a good game too for Athletics, as it keeps them kind of at the top of the middle of the pack now in the regular season standings at 18U.
Creekside Fitness, not the first time they've been able to skin by their fingernails, I guess you could say, to keep pace with the Falcons in that 18U division. They win 2-1 over Avalanche.
And Avalanche is a good baseball team. They were 6-6 going into that one, and we knew that they can bring the heat, and they brought a great pitching performance. But Creekside getting it done, and they get to stay at top of the division.
And then we go down to the prospects, and it's funny. Yesterday I said 1-0 games aren't too common, and they're kind of anomalies. But now we've had back-to-back days with 1-0 contests. The prospects win a pitcher's duel with Eagleware 1-0 in a straight-up pitcher's duel.
It was. I mean, it was a pitcher's duel, and that's what we love to see too. I mean, you get to see that all the time or you don't get to see that all the time, I should say, at Bobstein Park, just because of how good the offenses are. But when you see it too, it's a nice thing to see when a pitcher has it all going on the mound.
It's like the baseball universe is just laughing at me at this point. Like, "Ha, Anthony, you think you know? Suck it!"
Yeah, you've got.
So 1-0, the prospects, they beat Eagleware. And then, man, that Astro Falcons team, they got all they can handle from Nightline again. But remember I said, if Nightline was going to win, it wasn't going to be 11-10. That wasn't going to happen again. It didn't, but Nightline pitching was up for the task this time around. They held Astro Falcons down, but in the end, it was one run in the bottom of the sixth that sealed the deal for the Falcons as they won 4-3 over Nightline. But man, this Nightline team, something about them giving the Astro Falcons everything they can handle.
They took a 3-0 lead in the top of the third as well, and Astro had to come back. They scratched across 1 in the bottom half of that inning and 2 in the bottom half of the fourth to tie it up before they finally got the lead in the bottom of the sixth, closed it out in the seventh. But I don't know. It's something about the pitching that they're bringing to the table. And I mean, you got Jake Papagallo and then Ronnie Harper that took the line for Nightline last night, and they both pitched great performances too. But you had Zach Erb and then Brandon Coughlin on the other side for Astro too that took the mound.
Interesting, because we always talk about in baseball, you want to spread out your runs if you can and stay consistent through the game. And you look at Nightline, they had that one beginning that put them up 3-0, but the Falcons kept chipping away. Like, it wasn't a big inning that got them. It wasn't like they had a 4-run inning. They kept, okay, we're going to score 1 in this inning, 2 in this inning. We're going to score 1 in this inning. A relentless offense that always put pressures on inning after inning. Sometimes it's harder to pitch against than one offense that just has one beginning and then can't really sustain it throughout the rest of the game.
Nightline out hit the Astros 6-3, held Astro to only 3 hits. Astro scored 4 runs on 3 hits. The biggest difference, though, 3 errors. 3 errors first and foremost. 3 errors to 2 for Nightline to Astro. So they were pretty similar, but 3 errors by Nightline. But then you look at the walks too. You had 2 by Tino Campoli, you had 1 by Zach Erb, you had 2 by Aaron Posey, you had 1 by Joe Roth. 6 walks total too. So 6 walks matched with 3 errors. A couple of timely hits too was all it took for Astro to take the lead.
We go into 14U. We had 1 score come in from 14U last night. Astro Falcons beat Prospects 9-6. Nice. And I think that was the one game we were wondering what it was, because it wasn't necessarily on the schedule on the website, but it was probably a makeup game from 14U. 9-6, the Falcons win.
I had a feeling it had to have been a makeup game because it was scheduled there, but we didn't have the teams that were scheduled, but we knew it was happening, and that seemed to have been the case too. But now looking at the standings, that's a nice.
I was about to say, update us on the standings after those finals came in.
After that, Astro win too against Prospects. That puts them at 13-3. They're still sitting behind Whiting, who's 13-1. Whiting has a couple of games left to play. Ballistics 10-4 and Avalanche is 10-7. Those are the top 4 teams in 14U, but it's still Astro chasing Whiting in this one because it's all compact in this one. No separate divisions for 14U.
And this at a half game back still, which eventually that'll even out. There will be a day where the Astro Falcons have a game and Creekside doesn't, and they'll earn that half game back.
The biggest thing is too for Whiting is for 14U, they got 2. They're up 2 in the loss column. So 13-1 Whiting versus 13-3 Astro. So Whiting kind of controls their own destiny right now. As long as they could keep on winning, they can maintain a lead.
But like I said, I mean, eventually they'll those games will be caught up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So eventually, Whiting obviously they have 2 less games than the Astro Falcons right now in 14U, so that'll be caught up too.
Yeah, absolutely. You can kind of control your own destiny, but Whiting looking impressive in 14 and 16U.
Impressive as always. You can find recaps and scores and more information about the games last night and ysnlive.com. You can also follow our social media page for post-game interviews from BCB, Class B Baseball. There were a couple of great performances that went and got highlighted by the Game Changer Player of the Game. And so head over to our social media platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube to find those post-game interviews that DJ conducted with Little League Baseball in the Field of Dreams.
It was nice interviews too that were conducted. I love listening. I love listening to those interviews too. Those kids do a great job as well.
I'm excited. My first step into the Little League scene this season is going to be Wednesday for the softball regular season championships, 10U and 12U. So that'll be real fun to kind of finally get my chance to get down there at Field of Dreams.
That'll be exciting too. And I mean, I've been there. It's been a couple years since I last been there, but I remember being there last. They always do a great job there. It's always beautiful parks, no doubt.
Well, they call it a Field of Dreams for a reason, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. It's the Field of Dreams in Boardman, Ohio, are the Ohio edition of it. They brought Iowa to Ohio somehow.
All right, Ty. We have, like we promised, we have the divisional breakdowns for fall winter sports. We went over the fall sports division breakdowns yesterday. And now today the winter sports have been released, and there are some changes, some very interesting changes in boys and girls basketball and bowling and wrestling. And I want to start with and swimming and diving. Don't want to leave swimming out. So the only change that affects YSN in bowling is Hubbard moved up from Division 2 to Division 1 in both boys and girls bowling. So that's the only movement as far as that sport is concerned in the YSN family. Hubbard is now a Division 1 bowling school.
That's interesting too. I mean, that they were able to move up. They're going to have to face some tougher competition now, you would feel.
All right, so swimming and diving, here are the changes that affect the YSN schools. Like all the other girls' sports so far, Canfield has moved down from Division 1 to Division 2 as they finally get a little bit of a hiatus. Like I said before, they were the smallest Division 1 girls sports team in the state of Ohio for the last couple of years. So they moved down to Division 2 in swimming and diving for Canfield. And I think, that is the only change for swimming and diving that affects the YSN nation. So Canfield, like volleyball and like girls soccer, moved down from Division 1 to Division 2.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of expected that too with the enrollment numbers, and that we were kind of hearing that too from Canfield anyway.
We lost. Am I back?
I think you're good. I think you're good. I don't know if it was you or me that was.
It was on my end.
Oh,
I froze, and then the windows went black. So I think.
Oh, okay. I thought it was my end. I was waiting for me to unfreeze. Okay, so we're on the same page.
So swimming and diving once again. Canfield girls is the only change in that sport as they move down from Division 1 to Division 2.
Nice to see them move down. Now that'll be interesting to see how that plays out too.
In wrestling, the only change that affects YSN, Jefferson area moved up from Division 3 to Division 2. So Jefferson will now be a Division 2 wrestling team.
And I believe too that, I mean, with that being said, they're going to have to face some tougher competition as well too. Division 2, from what I remember Gary telling us too, is a gauntlet.
Well, Louisville will be there, so that's enough with that program. Beaver Local, D2, West Branch is D2. It's a who's who in the area wrestling.
Yeah, for sure.
We go on to boys basketball. There's a lot more movement than the other sports. We'll start with Louisville. They have moved from Division 1 to Division 2. So the Leopards will be in the Division II bracket now instead of Division I in boys basketball. Howland making the same move. They have moved down from Division I to Division II. Here's a side note, by the way. Akron St. Vincent St. Mary stays in Division I. So those teams that are moving down to Division II no longer have to worry about Akron St. Vincent St. Mary in the tournaments.
And that's interesting for Howland now moving down to Division II, and I mean now you can pretty much avoid St. V's going through that.
Look, I mean, we try to say like St. V's is obviously a powerhouse, but every division has their own kind of monster in the division that you have to contend with. So it's not like it's going to be an easier road per se, but since St. Vincent St. Mary has definitely been a bugaboo for our area, our YSN boys basketball teams, nice to see them have to play a couple of new bloods this time.
It was funny too when we were looking at it. There was like almost no movement when you talk about Division I schools. Because I was looking at those two, like there's like almost no movement at all. There was like a couple of schools, and I think like Chardon was like one of them that like moved up, but like not many schools at all moved up to Division I or moved down from Division I. They all kind of
except for the ones that we said, Howland and Louisville.
Yeah,
moved
so
over
like
from
but I'm talking like expanding across too the entire state. There's not even that much movement at all in D1.
All right, some more boys basketball movement. Jefferson area, like in wrestling, they have moved from Division III up to Division II. So they will be a Division II boys basketball team now.
It's going to be a little bit tougher of a slate, you would think, ahead of them now. Now they got to face some tough competition in D2.
Lakeview has moved from Division II down to Division III. So they will be a Division III team now. Brookfield and Valley Christian have moved up to Division III from Division IV.
So now Brookfield, Valley, Christian, Lakeview, you're going to have to contend with Mooney because that was Mooney's world, right? Mooney's going to be bringing back some good young talent too in Division III. That's going to be the tough team that you're going to have to try to focus on, you would think, in the area that you're going to have to try to get past.
Last movement from boys basketball, Springfield moves from Division III down to Division IV. So we see their football team get bumped down, and now their basketball team also gets bumped down to Division IV.
And this will be interesting to see how Springfield is going to adjust bumping down to Division IV now, and just to see what kind of competition they're going to have to face now looking at a Division IV tournament.
Just like football, we're probably going to have to see a Springfield JFK basketball matchup.
You would likely think so, too, because I believe you're right, and JFK is Division IV for basketball, so that is likely a matchup you would think is going to be on the horizon at some point.
I would be shocked if it's not. We go to girls basketball. Howland has moved from Division I down to Division II. So Howland is no longer a Division I team. And Canfield has also made the move from Division I down to Division II.
It'll be interesting to see now because Canfield and Howland are going to be there with Poland, West Branch, and now it's going to get really crowded in Division II.
Well, wait a minute, because I don't want to spoil anything, but there might be some teams that moved from Division II down to Division III. So we will continue.
Playing into storyline.
Ursuline does move up to Division II in girls basketball from Division III. So Ursuline kind of makes the jump up. So that will join Canfield and Howland in Division II.
Competition in D2 in this area and in the YSN coverage map now.
So this is the biggest move that we've seen so far in the basketball realm, because we have a lot of teams going from Division II to Division III. Beaver Local, Poland, and Lakeview all move from Division II down to Division III.
So now
Poland and Lakeview and Beaver Local, Beaver Local is not in our district, so our YSN teams won't have to deal with them. Our other YSN teams, I don't want to sound like Beaver Local is not a YSN team. Our other YSN teams won't have to play Beaver Local in a district tournament setup. But Poland and Lakeview are now going to be a Division III team to go along with some of the other teams that have moved up from Division IV.
And Poland right now is not going to get that age-old matchup with West Branch anymore in the tourney. So it might be.
No, but now we get to see South Range Poland round 3.
Yeah.
Round 3.
Here you go, right here. D3. I mean, Chris, I'm looking at D3, but I'm also looking at D2 now. D2 is going to be a gauntlet as well with all the teams that have moved up to D2 in girls basketball. I mean, you're looking at what? Ursuline was right there at that big stage last year. You're going to imagine that they're going to be competitive again going into this season. West Branch is
Yeah,
always
look,
West Branch. Like,
Ursuline's always teeter-tottering because it wasn't too long ago they were a Division II team. I mean, when they had Dacian and Harris, they played Poland in the district semifinals in Division II. So they're always kind of flipping back and forth between D2 and D3. So not super surprised by this move. This is the first time that I can remember Poland going down a division. I'm sure it's happened before, but since we've been covering them at YSN, they've been a mainstay in Division II. So now we're going to see Poland drop down to Division III.
and now you got Poland, South Range. Don't forget Waterloo is right there too. So I mean,
Waterloo, Garfield, Brookfield,
there's a lot of
Liberty,
good Division
United. I mean, like the list goes on and on.
a
Division
lot
three,
of
like
good
Chris
Division
said,
three basketball teams.
Division 3, like Chris said, is gonna be a gauntlet champion still in there. And if Gardisher, I think that's I'm gonna mess up that last name. If she comes back healthy, then champion's gonna be very, very hard to contend with.
No doubt, no doubt. And I mean, we'll have to see how everything plays out. But like these divisions, I mean, this is what you love too when everything kind of gets reshaped because now we all of a sudden there's new matchups that can be created in the tournament that are going to be fresh that we haven't seen in some time.
We aren't done, Ty. There's more movement in girls basketball. Cardinal Mooney has moved from Division 3 to down to they were D2. They moved down to D3. But
Yikes.
this is interesting because enrollment wise, they're a Division 4 team, but their competitive balance number has bumped them up into Division 3. So enrollment wise, Division 4, but competitive balance has moved them up to Division 3.
Enter
So they will
D3.
they will add to that D3 window.
Jeez, oh man, enter another tough basketball team into D3. That same basketball team that beat Salem, our number one ranked team last year, like that's capable of beating anybody on any given night.
We are not done with the movement either. Mineral Ridge, Waterloo, and East Palestine have moved down to Division 4 from Division 3. So
we
Ridge, Waterloo, and Palestine will now be Division 4 basketball teams to go along with powerhouses like McDonald, Western Reserve, Jackson Milton, teams like that. Springfield will still be down there in Division 4. So that's going to be an interesting tournament, and to say the least, when we talk Division 4.
I'm super excited to see these teams in Division 4. I'm very excited too, a little bit biased, I guess, for the Sweetheart School to see them down in Division 4 because I love these matchups too. A lot of MVAC Scarlet matchups too that were fun, exciting, competitive, and these are ones that you, like you said, Ant, your Jackson Miltons or your Western Reserve, your McDonald's too. Those kind of teams, Western Reserve, McDonald, powerhouses that have been there before. Enter Waterloo now in Division 4. This is going to be interesting too. Lady Vikes have an interesting task ahead of them for tournament.
And a D4 team that I think people can't sleep on is Warren JFK because we saw them make tremendous strides from 2 years ago to last year. I mean, I think they doubled their win total, and now they're bringing almost everybody back again. So Warren JFK, I think I really like. I love the coach interview that we did with JFK. He's really feeding energy into that program. And I think JFK is gonna be just fine.
It'll be fun this year.
That's my sleeper pick. I don't want to go too far because winter's a long time away, but that's my way too early sleeper pick for Division 4. Warren JFK.
That's fair. That's a fair pick too.
Way too early, but hey, that's what we're all about, right?
We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. It'll be fun though. I can't wait for this upcoming season too because I mean. Just looking at the teams that we're going to have in each one of these divisions, it's going to be fun. I mean, your coverage too is now going to be a lot into D3 with Poland and South Range. I mean, I know you love making your trips down to those two places too, and that's going to be fun for you because now these D3 tournaments you're going to be so familiar with. I mean, it's going to be like all YSN D3 tournaments.
We might get to see round 3 of Poland versus South Range, which.
but like
I would never want. No one would ever complain about with the way those games have gone the last 2 years.
Poland facing Garfield, like so many cool matchups that could happen in these tournaments. It's going to be a fun year. I can't wait. You
can look at Division 2. Like Division 2 just got a lot harder because now Canfield and Howland have moved down to Division 2.
It's
So
gonna.
you'll lose Poland if you're West Branch, but you add Canfield and Howland.
So I think we're only sitting what now 2 D1 teams in girls basketball, Fitch and Louisville then, right? Or should be our two. Boardman, that's right. Boardman's D1 as well. So we went down from 5 to 3, but I like seeing these teams in D2 because I think Canfield and Howland, we saw how they've duked it out too last year. With how far Howland was able to go last year too, and just the fact that they played a tough schedule and they played in D1, I'm excited to see what they can do in D2 with Coach Pounds.
Yeah, they're obviously going to look a lot different. They graduated a couple of really key members to that team. Pompelia, McLean, all these names are missing. They had 5 seniors, I think.
But
if I'm not mistaken, those are the 2 really, really big names. But Taylor Lawrence, right? That was, I want to say it was Taylor.
I think that's one of them. But like I said, you get Alyssa Masucci.
You get Alyssa Masucci back, and that's sometimes all you need.
That's huge too for them. And I mean, the biggest thing is, I mean, Coach Pounds is doing such a great job over there with those girls too, and with that team. It's going to be exciting to see what they come back with next year. You got the basketball juices flowing in me, but that's a long ways away. But I mean, just talking about it too, it's always
you got antsy for basketball before we were even done for football.
I know. I love me my basketball season, no doubt.
I was out there shooting hoops before football was even over.
I can't wait. It skips over that entire winter for me. That's why I love getting out there. And I mean, like, I'm just in a basketball gym almost every night if I can be during the winter. I love going out there and doing games.
I just don't want to think about what comes with it, that cold weather. Ugh.
Yeah, it's always the cold weather too. You got to get warmed up. But no, we got a whole summer, dude. What are we talking about winter?
Yeah, like let's get our happy face on because we
got our divisional breakdowns down for didn't mean to double down on that, but we got our divisional breakdowns done for basketball season, and it will be exciting. But yeah, that should be all the movement. We covered football, volleyball, and all the fall sports yesterday on yesterday's show. And that should take care of the winter sports then.
Like we did with yesterday, Ty, I'm going to ask this question because we said Springfield moving for football. What do you think is the biggest move for boys basketball when you look at the biggest kind of shakeup move or the biggest move that's going to really cause some waves?
There's a lot of movement, especially with like the 4 division setup too that basketball has. I think like the competition level that we're going to see for some of these divisions is going to be pretty interesting to say the least. I think looking back at it too.
For me, like I'll answer it since you're kind of taking some time to think. Obviously, I'll say Louisville going to Division 2 in boys basketball. That's the biggest shakeup for me.
I was kind of thinking that too, considering just how far they went last year all the way up. But I mean, you're still going to have to contend with like Ursuline now. That's the matchups that's going to be created too down in Division 2 with like what Louisville's going to have to match up with. And we know Ursuline always is going to bring back tough teams. I don't know. I might have to agree with you on the Louisville route just because they made it all the way to that regional final and they met St. Vincent St. Mary's, and that's always a tough team to try to get past. But if they're down in D2, who knows what they can do now? And I mean, we know Coach Siegfried, he's always able to get the most out of those players too. So it should be no doubt an interesting upcoming season.
For girls basketball, and this, I know everyone's going to be focusing on the Poland moving down to Division 3, but I got to say, I'm looking at the young Waterloo team that's bringing everyone back, going down
my answer for that one.
That's going to be, I wanted you to think about it. I wanted to take away the easy answer from you.
Yeah.
So I think Waterloo going to Division 4 is the biggest shakeup in this girls basketball move.
I think it's one of them too. I mean, I'll shout out the Poland one, of course, too. But looking at this Waterloo team going down to Division 4, I think the possibilities are endless because we saw them. They're going to bring back everybody that was on their starting five last year, presumably. You're bringing back all that talent, and it's the same talent that went undefeated in the conference, and it's the same conference opponent that you're looking to face in districts. Yeah, this exactly. Waterloo moving to D4, which Springfield waltzed through last year. Like that's going to be interesting too. And
Well, here's the most interesting
Springfield
thing.
Waterloo round 3 then is what you're going to get.
The most interesting thing is most of Waterloo's conference is going to be in that Division 4 district. So no matter who they play, whether it be McDonald, Jackson Milton, Western Reserve, they're all kind of sitting there in Division 4 waiting in that bracket. Last year was let's get through the conference and then let's go on and play a bunch of teams that we didn't play really this year that much. Now we're familiar with almost everybody in this bracket.
And I think this is going to be an interesting opening for them as well. But I mean, you mentioned Poland too moving down to D3. Now we might see Poland Liberty in a playoff matchup. Like, imagine those two teams going at it in a tournament game.
Well, it's going to be another Division 3 team that plays almost an exclusive up division schedule.
So
because the whole NE8 outside of South Range is going to be Division 2.
They're going to be prepared. They're going to be prepared once that tournament rolls around.
And Blanche is going to put West Branch and the Boardmans, the big non-conference games on their schedule. So you're gonna have to go up against a Poland team like you had to with South Range and some other teams in Division 3 that play almost an exclusive uptick in their schedule. Moody's going to be there too.
I think that's going to be huge too. I'll also shout out Howland going from D1 to D2 is huge. Is a huge move because now you look at the way D2 is going to shake up. You might see Howland West Branch in a matchup like that. That would.
Let's not forget about Mr. Salem in Division 2.
That's what I was going to say too.
I was like, we can't go without Mitchell.
Right there, Salem. Like Salem West Branch is always one, but how about Salem and Howland? Like you might get Salem Howland too. Like
might get Salem Canfield, which we saw in the regular season this year.
Canfield West Branch, we saw what kind of artillery Canfield brought to West Branch earlier in the season too. Like we know that these teams can be competitive. I think D2, all the divisions honestly just got shaken up a lot going into the season.
We saw more movement in girls basketball, I think, than the other sports that we've covered so far. There wasn't a ton of movement in football or soccer or volleyball, but there's quite a bit of movement in girls basketball.
Yeah, and I mean for some of our teams now, I think like you said, we're shouting out those teams. D3, D2, and D4 is going to be interesting, but I would say Poland moving to D3 is big. Canfield Howland moving to D2 is huge, and Waterloo going to D4 is big because I think it opens up some doors for longer tournament runs for all those teams. Honestly, I really do. For all of those teams I just said, I think it opens doors for a longer tournament run.
And Division 1 is getting kind of lonely.
It's getting kind of lonely, but Fitch and Louisville, we have faith in these two teams.
And Boardman.
Fitch, Louisville, Boardman. I have faith in these teams getting it done. Fitch and Boardman were some younger teams last year. They're going to bring back some tough teams in Louisville. I know they had a lot of seniors, but they have a good culture there, and I have no doubt that they'll be able to rebuild that team right back to where it was.
Actually, there weren't too many other movements in the other sports. I was going to say what are the biggest movements in the other sports, but
other
sports had like one team move.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of movement outside of that. I mean, Jefferson moving in wrestling is going to be interesting for sure, I think, going into this, because I think Jefferson usually has some pretty solid programs right up there in Ashtabula County. So they could bring a solid program to this. And they moved up a division too. So you got to contend with state champions from a couple years ago in the Leopards.
And once again, Canfield, just like girls basketball, moves down in swimming. They move down in volleyball. They move down in girls soccer. So all these girls teams for Canfield are experiencing what they've been waiting for. Because you talk to all those coaches, whether it be girls basketball, girls soccer, they're all like, man, we are the smallest Division 1 team in the state. This is brutal. And now they're going to be one of the bigger teams in Division 2. So now they have to back that up, right? They've been saying it for a while that we're a small Division 1 team. okay, well then go prove that you could really, that was the factor in the tournaments, because now you've been saying it for a while. Go back it up in these Division II tournaments.
Talking all these division switches too just gets me amped up for high school seasons to start again too. And I mean, that's what we talk about. Football and volleyball are right there, that kind of loom, and we know all the work that goes into it, but like we get ready too. Because as much as it looms, all that excitement builds in us here at YSN during the summer too, and we're ready for it by the time it rolls around. And just talking about this, just because looking at the matchups we can have, football, volleyball, boys and girls basketball now in these tournaments too, because of the YSN teams that we're going to have covered and the games that we can likely have. I'm excited for the way that this tournament can and probably likely will shake out too. We're guaranteed to have some new matchups, I think, in some aspect, at least in one of the divisions.
Let's take our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll go over the schedule for tonight before we get into our hour and 15 minutes worth of just straight interviews on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com or find us on Facebook.
Jimmy Sutton here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring PGA professionals, golf instruction, a players rewards club, kids programs, and a pro shop and grill room for a memorable golf experience. Call or click to schedule your tee time at Mill Creek Golf Course.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we offer a worry-free experience for all our customers.
From sales to financing and even service, we'll help build your perfect vehicle
and lock in your trade value
while your vehicle is being built.
No worries.
We guarantee financing,
regardless of your situation or credit history.
No worries. And when your vehicle needs service,
our award-winning team will get you back on the road.
No worries.
That's what going the extra mile means. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Now is the time to think about your future, where you want to go, what you want to be. Your future can start now at Kent State Salem or Kent State East Liverpool. We have programs that will open doors and provide opportunities for you to pursue your passion. We are affordable. We are close. You call it hometown. We call it Kent State University. Learn more at www.kent.edu/Columbiana. You belong here.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. And Ty, we usually do this in the end of the show, but since we're going to have guests for the bulk of the second half, I do want to go over the schedule for tonight and what games you'll be able to see on the network. And there are a lot of games, as we have Class B from Scene and Pemberton. So it'll be a total of 8 Class B games today, as Noah Ricks is going to be in Pemberton for a doubleheader at 5:30 and 7:30. We'll be on Scene 1 at 5:30 and 8, and it will be Bob Zanny on the call there. Richie Giuliano will take Scene 2, 5:30 and 8 o'clock there, and Matt Mayer will take Scene 3, 5:30 and 8 o'clock first pitches there. Then we'll go into the Field of Dreams, where we have all 5 games happening in Boardman on the network tonight. Eric Hughes will be doing the softball game on S1, while Dom O'Brien does some baseball on L2. We'll have the varsity tournament game at 5:30 from Alec Caberna on L1. Dom O'Brien and Alec Caberna both pulling double duty, as they'll have double headers on L1 and L2 for baseball.
Yeah, and I also wanted to shout out, I don't know if any changes too, and I have a green game at Springfield 5:30 with Noah Doty on the call as well. I don't know if maybe if it changed on yours, or if this one I have on mine is accurate. I just wanted to make sure we have it accurate on here or not. Because at 5:30 start time, I don't know the conditions of the field.
In Class B?
Yeah, it was in Class B baseball, right at the top, Noah Doty. And then we got Pemberton with Noah Ricks.
I don't see it.
You're not seeing it? I got Springfield too. I'll get you updated too. We'll get confirmation on it too. But yeah, 5:30 start time for a lot of these games too. We have Pemberton 2 with Noah Ricks, and then Scene 1, 2, and 3 starting at 5:30 p.m. Kind of similar to last night, 5:30, and then 8 o'clock starts for game 2 at Scene, and then we have 5:30, and then 7:30 starts over at BCB, and then we also have 7:30 at Pemberton too. So we're really taking care of you all throughout the night too, baseball wise, starting at 5:30 first pitch.
It'll be 16U action, and we are talking to a bunch of 16U players today on Running Point, as it will be Drew Katchak making his first appearance at 12:45. Then we'll go into track and field, talk to some United track stars in Caleb Nastari and his head coach, Coach Rask, and then we'll go back to Class B baseball 16U, as we'll talk to Anthony Treveri and Mancini from the 16U Astro Falcons team.
Yeah, and I mean, that's going to be exciting too, getting into these Astro teams a little bit. We know Drew Katchak needs no introduction with the kind of season he's having over there with Astro, batting over 400 coming into the year. He's one of the batting leaders on that team, and I mean, doing a great job too. 516 on base percentage. When you're getting on base 51% of the time, you're doing something right.
Doing something right, that is for sure. And the Astro Falcons, Ty, you said they're in action tonight, as well as the whole 16U schedule. Can you go over the games that are going to be happening in Class B baseball today?
Yeah, let me pull up the game schedule we have for the 16U. All right. It's just taking a second to load. There we go. As we have athletics taking on Whiting, that's going to be Scene 1 at 5:30. Following 8 o'clock start at Scene 1, Dura Edge and Prospects tonight. 5:30 start on Scene 2, it's Ballistic and Avalanche. And then the 5:30 start on Scene 3 is Nightline and Astro, with 8 o'clock start following on Scene 3, Eagleware versus Creekside Fitness. Likely a makeup game that's happening then tonight on Scene 2 for that 8 o'clock start.
And we'll look at Storm Tracker 21. I think the weather should be fine as far as today. We had some thunderstorms roll in late last night, but you look at the forecast for tonight. Cloudy. There's going to be some clouds out there, but the high 87. So make sure you are protected from the sun if you are sun sensitive, as it will be sunny by 7 o'clock. And then, of course, the sun sets at 8:56. So you'll get some sunshine from 5 to 8, some clouds roll in from 5 to 6, and then the no clouds from 7 until sunset. So that'll be a good day for baseball.
The rest of the schedule too. A to Z will take on Eagleware at Pemberton at 5:30. Prospects will take on Eagleware 14U. I'm sorry, this is 14U. Prospects take on Eagleware at Pemberton at 7:30. Ballistic takes on Avalanche at Springfield at 5:30 for 14U. And then on Scene 2 at 8 p.m., it's Athletics taking on Astro Falcons 14U on Scene 2 at 8 o'clock. So 16U followed by 14U tonight at Scene.
Well, we have a 16U player who's putting together a really impressive summer so far. Drew Kashak of Astro Falcons joining us live on Running Point. Drew, thank you so much for for joining us.
Thank you for having me too.
I mean, you got the full get up too. I love it too. Rocking the Astro get up. Let's talk about the summer you're having, man. You're tearing it up. 423 batting average. You're getting on base over 50% of the time. What's it been like playing in the summer too? Trying to dodge a little bit more rain, but getting overall better weather.
Yeah, I'm having a great season right now. I mean, the team we're struggling a little bit, but we're gonna pick it up. But yeah, I'm seeing the ball really well right now, and have a lot of confidence up there.
Summer baseball, you kind of got to go right after high school and just kind of get in it and meet new guys and try to gel with this team. What's that like to kind of just go into a summer team and try to just find your own space and succeed in your own kind of realm?
I just go up there and I just play my game. I just have confidence. I know what I can do, and I just go up there and just play, do what I do my whole life since I was 4. Just go up there and hit the ball.
Does it create more pressure or motivation playing with Astro Falcons, knowing the kind of success that they've had in years?
Yeah, we know what we're representing. We know our history. At the end of the day, though, we're still just playing baseball. But yeah, we do know we're going to get every team's best game. They want to beat us. We know that, and we got to come up there and represent us well.
To expand on that, like, you don't get to wear that jersey unless they say that they want you on their team. So what's it mean to you that you get selected to wear that Astros jersey and that you get to kind of represent a very historic and winning history that this team has?
Oh, it means a lot. When you get the call that you made the team, it feels so good, and you just know that what you're representing, and you just want to go up there and show what you can do and represent the organization the best you can.
You previewed it a little bit earlier in your interview, talking about how this journey started at 4 years old. When did that love first start with baseball, and when did you first find yourself falling into this journey, if you have memories back that far?
Yeah, it was just started out in Little League. I just knew it was always been my favorite sport, just growing up, making friends and just having a time of my life playing the sport. And since I was younger, I just always knew it was the sport I wanted to play.
Was there a moment growing up that made you really fall in love with the sport of baseball, or a game you played, or kind of a accomplishment you had?
Not really a specific moment. It was just Austintown Little League, just playing in big tournaments, and just competitiveness just made me fall in love with the game.
What do you take away from your high school experience with baseball so far and your Class B experience with baseball so far that have made you an overall better baseball player?
High school season, we faced a lot of really, really good competition, and I think that made me a lot. I mean, I struggled at first, but I think it made me a lot better player in high school facing that. And then coming to Class B, it just gave me a lot of confidence that I know that after what I saw in high school that I could really do good in Class B.
You know, you keep bringing up the confidence, and obviously it's so important in baseball. Through the peaks and valleys, what kind of things do you do to try to keep yourself mentally even and keep that confidence up in baseball?
Whenever I'm struggling a little bit, I just go work on little things in practice, and just know that I just think about what I've done in the past and just keep the same confidence when I'm up there to the plate, even if I'm struggling.
Expanding that a little bit further, you talk about being a part of this game for such a long time. So I know you've had different experiences with different coaches. What's some of the best advice that a coach has given you that you've kind of taken with you along your baseball career?
just there's always the next game, or the next at bat. If you struggle, you make an error, you're always going to get another opportunity in baseball. That's what's so great about the sport. There's always another game in baseball where you can make up for mistakes. Don't get down on yourself if you strike out or if you make an error in the field. Just go up there next and make a play the next time. It's one of the biggest things I take away from it, my coaches.
From the start of high school season to now, what do you think is the biggest thing you've improved on in your game?
I honestly think it was hitting. Last year I struggled a lot in the off season. I worked on my swing a lot, and then going through high school, I saw a lot of good pitching, and I think it's improved my hitting a lot.
You talk about hitting, but I mean, just plate discipline as well. Right now, you're walking more than you're striking out at the plate. And I mean, that's an accomplishment a lot of batters look for too, and not many can achieve. What does it mean to you that you could say that you walk more than you strike out at the plate? And what kind of discipline do you have, and what work has gone into you having that kind of discipline at the plate?
Yeah, I take on the responsibility when I hit leadoff. It's a big responsibility just to get on base, and that's my main goal. So when I go up there, so I'm not looking for a walk, but I'm not chasing a lot of pitches early in the counts, especially. And it means a lot to walk more than strike out, especially hitting leadoff for our team. Anytime I can get on base, and I take a lot of responsibility in that.
Me and Ty were talking earlier about enjoying summer, and obviously you're enjoying it with baseball, but outside of baseball, what's your favorite thing about the summer break?
Me and my friends have been heading out to the lake a lot and just messing around on the lake and just hanging out with my friends. I've loved it.
We talk a lot about with Class B too, and with the coaches, a lot of the focus, once you go Class B summer ball, it's winning. It's competition. You want to win. You're out there to win. So when you have that kind of mindset, what's that mindset shift like for you when you enter Class B season? And do you have to kind of flip on an extra competitive switch knowing that the mindset is just winning and you want to get out there and win games?
It was really the same thing in high school, all about winning, but coming to Class B, especially with the Astros, I mean, we want to win every single game we play. So yeah, we're focused on winning every single game, and we just focus on winning.
Help us get to know the personality of this team a little bit more in the dugout. What's it like to be with them, and what kind of personality would you describe the team as?
Oh, it's great. I describe them as just like funny humor. We just mess around in the dugout. I love all my teammates. They're some of the funniest guys I know, and we're always in a good mood, messing around the dugout, and obviously focused on winning, but we have a great team to play with.
You have some great personalities on this team. You had some great personalities on your high school team. And talking about that, what's one of the funniest experiences you've had with a teammate during a game or during a time, maybe a bus ride to a game that you have from?
Trying to think. Playing high school, playing with Jay Corral and stuff, the things that they say in the dugout, just it's so they're so funny, and just messing around with the opposing teams and just to get in their heads. That's some of the funniest stuff I've heard.
Baseball players have special relationships with their gloves, so I'm asking, do you have a special bond with the glove you use, and if so, when did it build?
I love both. I have my infield and my outfield gloves, and I love my gloves, both of them. I play catch with it and all the time, and I love them both.
Is anyone allowed to touch your gloves?
Yeah, I'm not one of the kids that don't let anyone. I just make sure people, when they touch it, they put their hands in the same way that I do, not to mess it up.
That's fair too. He's not a stickler about his glove too, and he's not like some of the guys we've had on. We have had that question that's run through the baseball world, but we have this other question too. What's the go-to dugout snack and sports drink combination for Drew Catchjack?
I'm more just a water guy, but for snacks, I normally bring granola bars, occasionally a sandwich, but normally I'm just a granola bar, cereal bar guy.
What's the go-to granola bar then? What's the go-to?
Chocolate chip granola bar and cinnamon toast crunch cereal bar for sure.
What is your favorite pregame routine that you have for yourself to get yourself ready for a game?
When I go and stretch, I normally stretch on my own, like before the game, and I just get mentally, I calm myself down. I do some breathing to make sure I'm focused, clear my mind, get ready for the game. What I normally do.
Do you have a pregame playlist?
I do, but I don't listen to music before the game. I just in my car. I have a pregame playlist that I listen to hype myself up.
What is some advice you would give to a little leaguer that looks at Drew Kashak and says he wants to be just like him one day?
Keep doing what you do. Do the right thing on the field. Do not disrespect the game. Play the game the right way, and just keep working.
All right, Drew, I want to get to know you a little bit off the field with some rapid fire questions, and I'm going to start with, if we gave you a time machine and you could go forward or back in time, which one would you want to do, forward or back?
Back probably.
What era would you want to go to?
Probably sometime. I'm a big history guy, so probably sometime in the 1900s, like early 1900s.
If you could meet any historic figure with that time machine, who would you want to meet?
Probably Babe Ruth, honestly. I think that'd be really
Who's your favorite professional athlete?
Andrew McCutcheon. Growing up, I always loved him.
What's the favorite professional team?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Is there a dream field that you would like to play on? If you could play on any baseball field, what field would you want to play on?
I think Dodger Stadium. Just the history they have there, I think would be very cool.
What's the best field you have played on in your baseball career?
I played in Canal Park one time. That was very nice.
Where's one place that you would want to vacation to that you haven't gotten to yet?
Hawaii.
What is your favorite vacation spot that you have been to?
Destin, Florida.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you want to live?
Florida.
What is one thing that you spend a lot of money on that you probably shouldn't?
Shoes.
What was your last impulse buy?
Shoes.
What's now? See, we talked to a lot of sneakerheads. Like, what's the go-to shoe? I know there are some people that only wear Nikes. Well, stay away from Adidas. So, what's the favorite shoe for you?
Mine personally is an Adidas Ultra Boost. I wear Nike and Adidas, but I'm more of an Adidas Ultra Boost guy.
How many shoes do you have in your collection?
I don't know if I have a number, but I have a lot.
Do you have like a special shoe rack or a spot in your bedroom that's all dedicated to the shoes you have?
Yeah, I have one in my closet.
What's the next shoe on your wish list?
Probably a pair of Yeezys. I don't own a pair right now, but I need to get one.
What was the last thing that someone gave to you as a gift?
I honestly think it was my back grip for my bat.
What's the nicest thing a stranger has ever done for you?
Gave me a compliment. Just said my outfit looks nice.
What was the nicest thing you ever done for a stranger?
Probably paid for their meal in front of me one time. I remember that.
What's your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
And what's your least favorite holiday?
Honestly, I'm not a big Thanksgiving guy. I don't know why. I'm not a big Thanksgiving guy.
What is one holiday that you would make if they gave you the power to make a holiday?
I don't really know, honestly. I don't think I'd come up with one.
Drew, before we let you go, we do want to give you the chance to give a shout out to your support system and the people that are always there for you.
Yeah, my family, they're always helping me out with baseball, driving to all my games, showing up. My coaches for supporting me, teaching me. My friends, family, players, teammates, they're all amazing in my life, and they do everything they can to help me succeed, and I really appreciate them.
Drew, thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations on the good start to the summer. We know it's going to continue, and we'll talk to you in real soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, Drew Kashak from Astros Falcons 16U baseball. And now we go from baseball into the track and field world, where we're going to talk to a coach at United in Jordan Rask. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thanks for having me.
Coach, let's first and foremost, I mean, I know we're gonna have to talk a little bit about the state champions, but I want to talk about the entire season as a whole, and just the experience you guys had coming back this season too. It was another year kind of away from COVID. We opened things up a little bit more. So, what was the season experience like from you as a coach perspective?
First off, it was just great being back at United, being that I am a United grad, and just being a part of such a great program. And yeah, it felt great to finally have what felt like a regular season the whole entire year.
We talk to a lot of coaches that are coaching at their alum, and they just have an extra motivation to nurture the program. What does it mean to you to coach where you went to high school?
That's a great opportunity. I graduated 15 years ago, and we were kind of a part of the beginning of the really strong United program. Now the history does go back real far, but I learned so much, and it feels great to be able to implement everything that we had learned when we were athletes there.
Knowing the tradition that was built and being a part of it and being that it is so rich, what would you say for some incoming runners and track and field participants, what to expect when they join this United program with the rich history it has?
Practices won't always be easy. And the upperclassmen can attest to that, but we have a rhyme and a reason for what we do, and we always have the best interest of the athletes. We're always looking out for the best interest of the athletes.
I should say, give a shout out to the people that have helped out with this program, your assistants, and some of the support system that you have, because we know the head coaches get all the limelight, they get all the interviews, but you can't do it alone.
First and foremost, the women's head coach, Danielle Birch. We went to high school together, so we were on the team together, but she's fantastic. Coach Karmazin handles the distance. He's another one I actually went to high school with, and he is a big part of why our distance program is so strong. Riley Philman is our jump and hurdle coach, another United alum who was fantastic in his own right when he was a member of the track team, and he's brought that knowledge to the athletes. And then Coach Good, yet another United alum that handled throws for us, young coach that brought a lot of enthusiasm to the throwing events.
Looking at your entire team, I know we're going to get to talking about Caleb here in a bit, but I want to give you the chance to shout out some other great seasons from the United program, too, that you want to highlight and spotlight on the show, because we know that there's a lot of great track and field runners and throwers and such over there at United.
Yeah, so even just looking over to the girls' side, Emily Ingold, Mary Boston, Juliana Logan, Jade Watt, they went into regionals for the 4x2, and it actually kind of caught us by surprise because we looked at the 4x1 for them as really the strong point, and the 4x2 is actually how they got to regionals, and they just missed out on finals. And then over on the boys side, kind of going back to the distance, Nick Hargrove, Zach Nasteri, Braden Gansline did a real strong job in the 4x8, and they just missed out on state just by a couple spots as well.
And when we talk about Caleb Nasteri, who won the state championship, so many accolades, so many state records, it was really hard to keep up. Can you go through all the things that he's accomplished this season so we can have a running list? I mean, I feel like there's like a scroll of accomplishments we could put together.
Yeah, so even just looking back to early in the season, looking all the way to the East Canton Invitational, he won the East Canton Invitational, and then we went to Tusky Valley. He won that, and that's when he ran the 155. And then we went to county, and he broke the county record at Salem with another 155 run. And then when we went to the Optimist, I think that's when we really saw that real time of 152. when he ran there, and that was actually his only loss of the year was at the Optimist. And then districts, we got there, and he kind of just had his eyes on breaking the district record, which was 155, and he goes and breaks the state record with 151. And then regionals, breaks the record again. And then state, he obviously saved one of his best performances for last and broke that by 2 seconds there and put on a show.
Coach, from a coaching perspective, again, how did you feel when he came out as state champion? Because we know how much runners put in, especially to shaving that time, and how important it is, even just seconds or half seconds off their time. And to see him just consistently breaking records, how proud were you as a coach witnessing this time and time again and see it all culminate in a state championship?
Oh, it's amazing. Because, I mean, at that point, I'm really kind of just watching it more as a fan, just in kind of in awe. And I can only imagine kind of what he was feeling, because my heart was beating out of my chest. I was just kind of counting the events as they were getting closer and closer to the 800. And I mean, I won't lie to you, there was tears shed, a lot of hugs after that race, just watching what he did.
And you get another year with him because he was just a junior. So I mean, I shudder to ask, but how can he even improve? Like, what are things that he can still get better at?
I think continuing to work on his speed work, because he really is fast. I mean, you don't really think of the 800 a lot of times as being that sprint event, but when you're at the elite level that he is at, it really is a sprint. I mean, when he's coming out on his opening 400 at state and went just a high 52, I mean, that's some people what they dream of just running the open for. So I think just continuing to even get a little bit faster, especially on that second lap, I think you'll see even more time get shaved off.
So what's your story with coming into the United program? I know you said you're an alum, but where'd you find yourself along this this coaching train, and what's kept you along for the ride for so long?
So I got my start with track at Southern Local. So I coached with Coach Randolph for a year there. And then I went over to Lisbon and coached for 3 years there. And you kind of always keep in touch with all the coaches really in the area. And Coach Birch and I have always been close. And we just kind of got talking. And then I had my opportunity with a teaching opening at United. And I coached football there too as well. And they had the boys side kind of open up. And I was grateful to be given the opportunity to take that position.
You know, I think outsiders that aren't familiar with track see going from 155 to 151 and think, oh, it's just for a second. I mean, like, put into words how much work it takes to shave even a second, nonetheless 2 or 3 seconds off of a time, like the way Caleb has this year.
Yeah. And the big thing is what he's coming in with that first lap. His sprint ability has, I mean, even just going from a 201 at the beginning, I mean, you see a 201 and that's still fast. And then when he's going from dropping 6 seconds and then 4 seconds, and then, yeah, the faster you get, it really just starts to get into those increments of where you're happy with dropping maybe a tenth and he's going 2 seconds faster there at state.
Is it true that having someone of Caleb's caliber raises the bar for the entire program, and then you see turnaround from all athletes and then all of a sudden you just kind of see it start taking over throughout the program? Everyone's trying to beat each other's records.
I mean, I think it does present that level of competition. And I have seen a lot more kids that get interested. I teach 6th grade, so I've been kind of getting all the kids interested, and I kind of use it as a little bit of a recruiting tool for me to say, look at what he's doing. That could be you too.
You know, I think another misconception that people outside of track think is it's only an individual sport, and the team aspect has no bearings on a program. And we know that from talking to other track coaches that can't be further from the truth. So talk about the chemistry on this team and how much you've seen this team kind of grow together and work as a unit and work together and cheer each other on and encourage each other and really work each other to this point where they're at.
Yeah, I mean, we have that overall goal of a team victory for conference. That's kind of like that don't really necessarily talk about it, but we expect it. Yeah, you do have your individual events, but we do rely so much on our relays and they really pull each other through. And then, I mean, even at practices, when you're having some of those tough workouts, they do a good job of uplifting each other, and it is that common goal. I mean, when you start to get the state districts into regionals, you start to drop off with some of your athletes. But it is, hopefully we get some relays through, and then they can help each other out in those real tough, hot practices.
What would you say are some misconceptions that kids might have about the sport that keeps them away from the sport that you could say about track and field as a coach?
I mean, I guess even kind of looking at it from the other side as a football coach, you have the kids that just focus on, well, I'm going to miss time in the weight room. We're still in the weight room. I think it's one of those sports that has so much application to all the other sports. I mean, your soccer kids, it's great for them to be running. Your football kids, it's great for. I mean, it really just has so much application to all the other sports. I think can help out so much, and some of these kids are really starting to see that now.
How many times as a football coach do you see a kid booking on the track and think to yourself, we need him, on our sidelines?
I'm always looking for that. And it's a lot trying to convince my football players to come out for track as well. So I'm trying to pull some kids, and I'm slowly getting there.
Which sport have you found is a harder sell for kids? So trying to get them from track to football, or trying to get them from football to track?
Football to track, I would say, because a lot of times you've had those kids that have been playing football since they were younger kids, and they haven't had that involvement with the track side of things. And then once you start to get those kids from football onto track, they see how much it helps them. They just kind of look at you like, oh, you do know something.
Friday nights in Hanoverton are always popping, no doubt, during football season. But we know Hanoverton likes to support United no matter what the situation is in sports. What's that kind of support like during track season, and how beneficial is that for you to see as a coach for your kids?
It's great to see. I mean, even from a parent side of things, they do such a good job of helping out with anything we need. I mean, our home meets, just any concession stand, they put snacks together for the kids. And then, I mean, those Tuesday, Thursday meets, it's a school night, so you don't always get the biggest draw, but all of our home meets, there's always the stands. There's a ton of people in the stands, and even some of our away meets. So it's just great to see, like you said, any of the sports in United, there's always great involvement from the community.
What was your fondest memory of being a student at United?
So I'm an ex-Lisbon guy. So I transferred to United when I was in fifth grade. So never losing to Lisbon on the football field was a big one for me.
Having the experience that you have now, what would Coach Jordan Rask tell player Jordan Rask if you could kind of go back and coach yourself?
Live in the weight room and give it your all at your practices. Don't take any days off. Sometimes I had the habit of doing that.
The last question I want to ask yourself, and it's kind of on the same path, because we know that coaches teach players a lot, but we also know players kind of get to teach coaches some things along the way. What's the biggest thing you've learned about yourself from the players that you've been able to coach?
That's a tough question. I think my big thing is I try not to live through the kids and really get to know the kids a lot better and learn kind of how they respond best. Some of the kids you can get a little bit tougher on, but some of the kids you have to kind of look from their perspective. The kids are, I won't necessarily say the kids are a whole lot different now. Yeah, I mean, just getting to know the kids individually and on a personal level. And once they see that we truly care, I think you get a lot more response from them.
Coach, I want to lastly just give you the chance to thank anybody along the way in your support system wise that's helped you in your journey coaching and in the Hanoverton community.
So going back to, as an athlete, Coach Ward, and I'm sure you'll hear that from a lot of former, and really it might not even be a United athlete. Coach Ward, he was a teacher, he was a coach for me, and he's still like a father figure to me. My parents have always been a great support system, and my wife, Maddie. With football and track, I'm gone a lot. and she does a great job. I mean, she's a coach as well, so we have a very busy fall schedule, but she does a great job of supporting me in everything that I do.
Coach, we want to thank you for your time and coming on to talk to us about an incredible season for United and obviously a state championship that you guys get to celebrate. We appreciate your time. We look forward to covering you guys next season, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Jordan Rask, the boys track and field coach over at United, taking the time to join us to talk a little bit about the United track season and also talk about our next guest, who is Caleb Nasteri, who is coming on to talk to us about winning a state championship. And Caleb, I guess the first thing we have to ask is, when I say state champion, I mean, what's that make you feel?
It feels great to finally win a state championship, because last year I was just one placement off from actually placing because I got 9th.
So what was the motivation that led into this year from last year? And when did it set into you? Once you cross that finish line and you realized you're a state champion, when did that moment finally set in for you?
It set in, like, I think it was setting in before I crossed the finish line. Like, I was probably 50 meters before the finish line. I was like ready to just win the meet. And
take us through the celebration with not just your teammates, your coaching staff, your family, and what that whirlwind of emotions was kind of like.
Coaches were excited for me. The training paid off, and it felt great for all of us. Family, they've been helping me the whole year. They took me to training over the summer to gain some weight and train weightlift. So for injuries, because I was having some last year. So they helped me with injuries, and that helped.
It all paid off too. And I mean, we were talking with Coach Rask, record after record after record. You're shattering them in every level too. Shattering your own record, breaking your own record. You had to have felt like you were on top of the world. Where was your confidence level going into the state championships? And what was the feeling like going out and breaking your own record and a new record every single time you took to the track?
I don't really know how I feel about that, but it felt good every single time. Even the state one's the one that kind of cut me off the most, like breaking 150 and making that the record. That's probably been I don't know how to say about that, but it was the one that made me feel the greatest of all.
Coach was telling us how much time you really cut off your run this year. You 201 down to 155, down to 151. And a lot of people will see that and think, oh, it's just, it's just a couple of seconds. What's the big deal? Take us through how much work really goes into cutting off just even 2 or 3 seconds off your time, and how proud you are that you were able to do it this year.
201 to 155 was, I wouldn't say that hard, because last year I hit 158. So it was a PR of 3 seconds, which is still good. And that really didn't take that much, but just to get to 152, I needed that extra competition at the one meet to get me there and show me what it actually feels like.
Through all the coaching that you've had too, what's some of the best advice that you've received from a coach that you kind of take with you into meets?
They usually just say, go run your race. And that's kind of how I just go run my race, go do what I usually been doing.
So I have to ask this because it's become a topic of every runner we bring in. How much do you run on a normal basis? Like, you go out and you run per week, would you say?
It kind of depends. Like this week or last week, I was running not a whole lot. I was kind of taking a recovery week. Mm-hmm. And then this week I'm kind of hitting it hard because of nationals, just training for that. So mile wise, I would say maybe like 10 a week, maybe a little less.
With the amount of time you put into running, I want to know, when did the love for running and track and field first start? When did you first find yourself getting involved with this sport and really just diving deep into it?
Well, I started running because of basketball, because I wanted to get better at basketball and work on my endurance. And then, 8th grade, the assistant cross-country coach wanted me to run cross. And that's kind of where it started, was in 8th grade, because cross was a lot of fun for me back in 8th grade.
What was it about cross country that made it so fun and made it click and made you kind of fall in love with it?
Just the environment, just so chill all the time and just relaxing.
Cross country and running and track are similar but different in ways too. What are some carryovers from cross country that you have going into track and field that you felt have helped you with your experience in cross?
Just the endurance helped me with track, and the pacing of other people kind of taught me that in cross.
We know you have some amazing teammates behind you. Take us through the personality of this team and what it's like kind of being with them and what it was like to have this journey of your junior season with the people around you.
They're great. They're fun to hang around with. We always have a chill time together, always having a laugh. We're always serious when it comes to the race, and after we're always having fun, celebrating.
With all the moments that you've had in your athletic career, would you say the state championship is the biggest highlight? And if so, what are some other highlights that you have in your sports career that stand out?
Yeah, I would say that's the biggest one that stands out the most. And then other ones, I don't really know. Maybe breaking the state record the first time would probably be another one that stands out for me.
What teammate is your best hype man? The one that is always kind of gassing you up and giving you a lot of encouragement?
I'll probably say Braden Gansline probably is there, always making jokes and being funny.
What is one of the goofiest things that your teammates have done this season?
Goofiest things. I don't really know. I don't think anything really goofy happens. Maybe. Yeah, I don't really know. Not sure.
What about playlist and music that you listen to before a meet to get yourself hyped up?
I don't really listen to music before a race. I kind of just get in the zone, just kind of get into that moment to get ready to run.
Are you got to be one of those too? And it feels like all of the runners are when after a big meet or after a big run too. You gotta fill yourself up too. You gotta get the proteins. You gotta get the carbs in too. So what's the go-to post meet meal that you go for?
I'll probably just say chicken and rice, maybe a stir fry type of thing. Kind of my thing I like to eat a lot.
Is that your favorite meal overall, or just favorite meal to have after a meet?
I don't really know if it would be overall, but definitely something I like to eat after a meet.
What is your favorite meal overall?
I'll probably have to say pizza, honestly.
Okay, that opens up a whole door of opportunities. Because what's the best pizza place? First question.
I don't know. We usually go down to G's World.
What toppings do you like?
I'm just a pepperoni guy.
That's nothing wrong with that. So what is kind of the guilty pleasure dessert? I know runners love to stay healthy, but there has to be some kind of sweet tooth you have. So when you're treating yourself a little bit, what's the dessert you go to?
I'm gonna have to say ice cream.
Who makes the best ice cream?
I'm not sure. They're kind of all good when it comes to whenever you eat it.
What's the go-to flavor?
Probably chocolate.
When you kind of are trying to get yourself, mentally off of track, or you need a mental break, or you need something to kind of get your mind off of the hecticness of your sport, what kind of things do you like to do in your downtime?
I like to play basketball. That gets my mind off of it. And sometimes video games helps, play with my friends, maybe hang out with my family.
What's your favorite game to play on the sticks?
Probably Call of Duty.
How would you rate your gameplay from 1 to 10? Like, are you a great game player, or are you like kind of a mid, or are you a noob?
I'd probably give me like a 6 out of 10.
It's modest. I like it. What are we asked you about? You don't listen to music before a meet, but I'm sure you have some kind of a personal playlist you like to listen to whenever you just need to listen to music. So what kind of jams do you like to put in your ears?
It kind of all just depends on the mood.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes it'll be hip hop, maybe rap someday. Not a big rock or country guy, but kind of just all depends on the mood.
Is there one song that you kind of really like that you jam to that you'd probably skip if your friends were listening with you?
No, not that I can think of.
What about movie or TV? Do you stream shows on any streaming service?
No, I'm not a big movie guy. I don't know.
What about books? You like books?
No, I don't like to read.
No.
No.
I don't like that. Okay. What's the favorite subject in school?
Math's the easiest for me, but probably if my teacher's history tends to be the best because of the teachers.
You're going into your senior year, which means you have to start trying to figure out what you want to do with your future. What kind of career paths do you kind of want to look at, and what kind of future goals do you have for yourself?
I'm still trying to think that through, but so far, maybe like manufacturing's a thing I'll look into, and like probably something to do with my sport, like maybe physical therapy, maybe a trainer, something like that. Look into those, but I'm not sure quite yet.
I know we all grow into jobs based on what we're good at, but when you were a kid, what was one of your dream jobs that you had that you said, I want to be this when I grow up?
Definitely was an NBA player.
Hey, you got to keep that dream alive, man. Before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to shout out your support system and the people that are always there for you.
Shout out to my parents for just always being there for me, taking the time and the resources just to make me better. And coaches too, being there, knowing I can, be something great and just helping me get better every single day.
Caleb, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and talking to us about your state championship and letting us get to know you a little bit more off the track. And we appreciate your time. We look forward to what your senior season brings and all the sports you play. And we also look forward to talking to you again real soon.
All right. See you.
That was Caleb Nastari joining us from United, the latest state champion on their United track and field program.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a great interview, too, with another one of the state champions, too. We've had a couple on the show now, and I mean, record after record after record that it was breaking one after another, as Coach said, too. It seemed like the sky was the limit for him, and it's going to continue as he has one more year with that United program left.
One of the things that I love about his story and about it, especially hearing Coach Rask talk about him, he set goals and then he exceeded them. So, track and cross country and swimming and these kind of individualistic kind of sports, you're all about setting goals for yourself. And yeah, I think, for a young kid, it's hard to find that line where it's a obtainable goal, but you're pushing yourself as well. And Caleb seems to really get that down where he's setting goals that aren't easy, but they're not impossible either. So they're obtainable goals that really push him to do his best. And that's why you see him even exceed those goals, because he's going so hard to meet, I want to get to 152. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's at 151. He's shattered his goal. Because when you set goals, Ty, that are obtainable but not impossible, that push yourself, that's when you tend to kind of break that ceiling that you even thought you had. You see too many kids, especially in these sports, set goals that, to be honest, they're easy. Like, they're okay, I'm gonna get to this, and it's like, you can get there, but you're just kind of setting a goal that you can get. Yeah, and I think we need to see more kids set goals like Caleb that are not impossible. They're definitely reachable, but you definitely have to push yourself to get to them, and that's when we see them break their ceiling.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you got to be willing to put in the work, and he certainly is too. I mean, off-season running too. You hear he puts in 10 miles a week. I mean, that's just dedication to your craft too, and that's how you excel in anything.
This concludes my TED Talk.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you.
On setting goals. We're going to be talking to someone who's setting a lot of goals this summer as well. Anthony Treveri of the Astro Falcon 16U joining us live on Running Point. Anthony, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You play, I mean, Anthony, first and foremost, I want to talk about just these programs that you've gotten a chance to experience with. First with the Ysn Irish in the school season, and now with the Astro Falcons, two really good programs. What are some of the biggest takeaways you have with the coaching staffs, and just some big things you've learned from these two programs?
Probably just the experience that I've had. Probably learning from with Ysn, Brady Shannon, taking away the things he says, and just watching how he leads by example.
I mean, you get to surround yourself with so many great leaders and great talent, whether it be at Ysn or the Astro Falcons. What are some things that you've kind of taken from all the guys that you get to surround yourself with so far in your career?
Probably just seeing how they do stuff and watching and seeing how I can apply that to my work ethic and just becoming better overall.
You were a member of the Pony League World Series runner-up team last year too. Talk about going from that experience and then going into your freshman year of high school. What kind of mindset shift in play that was for you going into the high school season and now into your first summer ball year as a high school athlete?
Yeah, it was just all off season. I just took the time to get better at my hitting. So I hit with a guy every Sunday once a week. So then I can apply that to my game for high school, and it really worked out.
What is one thing that you think you have improved on the most over this year of baseball from the start of high school to where you are now?
I would definitely say my hitting. It's gotten a lot better this year, just hitting line drives and barreling the ball up.
You are you're listed as a shortstop, second baseman, and a right-handed pitcher. What kind of respect do you have for middle infielders when you're on the mound, being that you played the second base and shortstop position? What kind of respect do you have for them when you're on the mound pitching and you have some guys behind you defensively?
I have a lot of respect for them, especially on our Astro team, knowing that when they hit the ball to them, that I know they can make the play for me.
When you get to wear this Astro Falcon jersey and you know all the historic success that this program has had, what's that mean to you that you get to put it on and you're one of the kids that gets selected to be on their team?
Yeah, it's a great honor to wear this jersey and play under Bob Scene, to wear the blue and orange. And my dad and uncle previously played for him, so it's an honor to follow in their footsteps.
We talk about with all these athletes too, playing at that beautiful Scene One, how special it is. What's so special for you when you get to step onto Bob Scene Field number 1 and get to play under the lights, or just the experience of playing on that field?
It's just a great experience, especially like under the lights, 8 o'clock game, Scene 1, all the fans come. It's just really fun to play.
What's your favorite kind of summer experience so far with this team?
Probably like the rivalry games against Creekside, against Avalanche, Whiting. They're all usually good games.
Do you think being a part of this successful that this Ursuline team had winning districts has helped you, and having that experience is going to help you with your future baseball career?
Yeah, just knowing that what we did and what we accomplished, just putting that forward and getting better next year to go even farther next year, I think it will definitely help out.
What motivates you the most to push yourself to get better every time you kind of step on the field?
Just watching older kids play and seeing what they do, just seeing how I could apply that to myself and just try and be like them.
You're an athlete, but you're a student first, and you rep a 4.2 GPA. How hard is it to balance out the school with the baseball work, and how have you been able to do it so well?
I just use my time wisely. Like in school, when I study hall, I get all my homework done, then come home, go to practice or something, and then just come home and study.
Was time management skills something you've always been good at, or was it something that you really had to work on as you kind of built your career as an athlete?
Coming to my freshman year, I really had to work on it this year to make sure that I could get all my work done, especially with playing basketball and baseball and having practice almost every night. So, yeah.
How much work does go into the homework aspect over at Ursuline? Because we know it's a prestigious school too, and we know they don't slack on the work either. So how much work goes into you being able to represent that 4.2 GPA, and how proud are you to actually say you have a GPA over 4?
It's proud to say that, especially going at Ursuline, which is a hard school for schoolwork. So, yeah. So, like, when I come home, I just study pretty much all night. And, yeah.
What is the hardest class that you've had so far?
Probably biology. Yeah, it's a really tough class at Ursuline as a freshman.
What about one that I don't want to say easy, because probably nothing's easy at Ursuline, but what's one that kind of came a little bit more easy for you?
Health and history, most likely, because they're both just half a semester.
What are some future classes you're looking forward to? I'm sure you have some classes in mind for next year. What are some classes you're looking forward to?
I would say probably geometry, honors geometry, which I'm doing.
Outside of baseball, what's your favorite thing about being on summer vacation?
Just hanging out with my friends, going on vacation to like the beach, and just having fun overall.
With all the personalities that was on that Irish team and that's on this Astro team, what's one of the funniest experiences you've had with a teammate this season that really got you laughing?
Probably just the bus rides with the Ursuline varsity team. They're pretty fun.
What coach kind of motivates you the most that you've had throughout your career?
I would say my dad motivates me every day with putting in the work and working harder and just trying to do my best.
What's one thing your dad always says that is kind of like that go-to quote that he has?
Just play hard, because he always says you never know who's watching. So just hustle off and on the field.
Looking at your overall career, what are some goals you want to set for yourself now going into your sophomore year and for the second half of this summer season?
Just to keep getting on base with this Astro team and just to do whatever I can to help us win, and especially win the league.
What is one sport that you don't play that you would like to try to learn how to play?
I would say golf. It looks pretty fun just to go out there and just relax and play with your friends.
I'm sure Brian Tolnar loves hearing that too, our golf guru and golf guru expert. Looking overall, though, at your sports career too, and being a baseball player, what's the go-to dugout snack and sports drink combination for Anthony Treveri?
I'm usually just a water guy, and then usually like a protein bar maybe in between games, and usually like down at Scene. If we have a double header, I'll just go to the concession stands to get a cheeseburger.
All right, if we were going to put you on a game show, what game show do you think you'd have the best chance of winning?
I don't know. I guess The Price is Right. I always liked that show, watching it growing up.
If we were to take you to karaoke night, what's your go-to karaoke song?
I don't know. Probably like an AC/DC song. I don't know.
What's your personal playlist look like?
I just like rock and roll music, like AC/DC. That's what I usually listen to before a game.
What is one song? Because you said AC/DC, and they have a lot of hype up songs. What's one song that gets you really jacked up, no matter what the situation would be?
I would say Thunderstruck. I've listened to it before all my games since I was little, and I just keep doing it ever since.
Would that be your walk-up song?
Yeah, possibly. I would say so.
Who is the one guy in any sport that you kind of looked up to as a kid?
I would definitely say Francisco Lindor.
What's your favorite memory being at a sporting event watching? It could be, at a high school sporting event. It could be going to a professional game. But what is one memory that you have that kind of sticks out from being able to be a spectator at a sporting event?
Probably a couple years ago when I went to the Indians when they played the Yankees in the ALCS game 2 when they came back and won in extra innings.
I feel like that'll be the answer to this question, but I'm still going to ask it because I want to know whether you were there or you watched it on TV. What's the best sporting game that you've ever watched?
It was that game in the ALD Indians versus Yankees game 2.
I mean, I got to imagine being there for that moment was an incredible experience. What kind of things did that do? I mean, did that make you fall in love with baseball even more?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Just with all the fans and how loud it was when they walked it off. 100%, it definitely made me fall in love with the game.
We know your fans, whether it be at Ursuline or for the Astro Falcons, can get really loud. What's the loudest that you've ever made a crowd in your career?
Probably when I played last year at the Pony World Series game 1 when we played Washington, the host team. That game was so loud. There was probably like 5,000 people there.
And you had a good showing in that whole experience with the Pony. How much confidence did a experience like that give you going forward?
It gave me a lot of confidence because last year we were used to like our Astro team and the team we had, we played 60-90 all year. And then we had to make an adjustment to 54-80 for the Pony rules. So just guys who were like bigger and stronger just coming in pitching 54 feet just made them pitch a lot faster, and then I was able to hit it. So it just gave me a lot of confidence to knowing that I could hit anything.
What is one thing that you love to do outside of sports?
Go to the beach, I guess.
Where's the best beach?
Clearwater, Florida.
Where's one place that you would like to vacation to that you haven't been to yet?
Hawaii.
What about your favorite vacation spot that you have been
to? Probably Clearwater.
Who's your favorite professional sports team?
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Who's your favorite professional athlete on that team right now?
Probably either Najee Harris or TJ Watt.
All right, what if we go through like all-time favorite Steeler, whether they're on the team or not? Who do you got?
I don't know. I guess. Oh, probably Jerome Bettis, I guess.
Are you a movie guy or a book guy?
I would say movies over books.
What's the last really good movie that you were able to see?
I don't know. I haven't watched a movie in a long time, honestly.
What about TV shows? You stream anything on the streaming services?
Not really.
So what do you do in your downtime? You more of a video game player, or do you like to?
I play some video games.
What's the favorite to go to?
Probably MLB The Show.
All right, here we go. Okay, what's the who's the best player to be on the show?
Like the best player to use.
Yeah, like who's your favorite player to use?
Probably Lindor, Francisco Lindor.
How would you rate your skills on the show?
I mean, I wouldn't say they're the best, but I don't want to say they're bad. I guess like decent, I guess.
If your teammates and you were going to have a MLB The Show tournament, who do you think would win?
I think I'd win that.
There you go. There's the confidence we want. Anthony, before we let you go, we want to give you a chance to shout out your support system and the people that are always there for you.
Yeah, I just want to thank my family, my mom and dad, for putting in the time with me and paying for all these travel teams I've been with. Thank my coaches for putting in all the hard work and making me a better player. And my teammates for just being there for me and being really funny. So, yeah, thank you.
All right, Anthony, thank you so much for joining us today. Good luck the rest of the summer. We're going to be covering you all season on YSN, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
All right, thanks for having me.
Anthony Treveri from the Astro Falcons 16U team joining us live on Running Point, and we're not done. We go right from him to one of his teammates in Dylan Mancini from the Astro Falcons 16U team. So, Dylan, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Dylan, let's just talk about the summer experience so far, being selected to play for Astro Falcon baseball, how that's been an honor for you too, and just the experience of being with Astro so far this season.
It's been pretty good. I mean, we kind of started off with a slow start, 5-4 in our league play, but we had a couple practices late to kind of get it together and take a win.
And obviously, you guys are very aware of the standings, and you know where you sit. And it's a different mind shift because in high school, all these coaches come on, they tell us we just try to take it one game at a time. We don't like to look at standings. But here in Class B baseball, it's all about where you're sitting and whether you're winning or losing. What's that mindset switch like to go from high school where you're trying to focus on every game, one game at a time, and then Class B, you're looking at standings, you're trying to look at other scores, and you're trying to kind of get yourself to that top of the standings?
I mean, high school puts a little more pressure because, the high school season, it's so important, but so is the scene play. And, you could lose a couple games in scene play and still kind of bounce back because the season is about 20, 25 games. But in high school, you have so many great teams in your division that maybe sometimes one loss will really hurt you.
So looking at that, I want to ask, what has summer ball helped you with in high school, and what has high school ball helped you with in summer ball?
High school ball has really helped me in summer ball because I got a chance to catch some of the big arms at Canfield, and that's really helped me. Some of the guys at Astro, and Astro last year kind of helped me, because we played a lot of games. It helped me get ready for the high school season and prepared and everything I needed.
You get to catch so many arms. Who is the hardest pitcher you've had to catch so far in your career?
I've only caught Landon Beitelcheese one time, but if I had to say other than him, probably Nate Shaw.
What were the difficulties in just trying to adjust with them? And you talked about how that experience has made you a better catcher overall, but what were the experiences that you had to really battle through in learning how to catch them?
I remember the first time I walked in the facility, Coach Havrilla kind of told me, gear up and get back there and start catching. And before that, I kind of caught some velo off the pitching machine at 90 or so. So the fastball was kind of easy, but then when he started throwing the junk, the slider, the curveball, the cutter, it kind of got a little out of hand, but I eventually got the hang of it.
Catchers, are always said that they don't get noticed unless they're doing something wrong. And obviously, kind of like offensive linemen in football. What's your favorite thing about being back there and being in a position that's so important, but also kind of under the radar?
I love when I get a chance to throw a guy out, when I kind of get it out the chute or kind of just throw him on my knees. I kind of really like to kind of gun him out, and, it's probably the most fun thing about that.
Do you take it as an offense when guys try to run on you?
No, because I mean, we're still 15 years old, 16 years old. I mean, we're not perfect. We're not in the MLB. So if they want to run and they get it, they get it. But I'm going to try to throw them out as many times as I can.
You talk about that, and I mean your experience with being a catcher. Where did your love first start with the sport of baseball? And when did you first find yourself really wanting to be a part of this sport full time?
I started playing baseball when I was about like 4 or 5, but I really kind of found my love for baseball when I go to watch my cousin Braden Beck when I was like 7 or 8, and that team, that Canfield team, when they were 12 back in like 2013 or 2014. Going there with my dad, my grandpa, my grandma, getting some fast food and sitting there and watching the game. It kind of made me want to be like all those guys and recreate what they had as much as I did, as much as I tried to in Little League, and kind of carry that with me up until now.
Growing up for you, Canfield was such a very successful program on the baseball diamond, and now you get to suit up with them. What was that kind of like to kind of be able to suit up with the team that you watched growing up, and to be able to call yourself a Cardinal, and to be able to now be a part of such a successful program?
I was really that was an honor. I mean, like watching the high school and those guys who were in Little League all those years. I mean, I wanted to play with them. I wanted to be associated with all those guys because I know that they're really good, some of the most talented guys in Ohio and maybe even the country. I mean, when all those guys, you can name the entire roster and there's not one bad name on there. Everybody has their own unique kind of game, and it all works together.
You're kind of entering the prime of your high school career now going into next season. So what are some of your big goals in this summer and going into next season that you're looking to accomplish as a baseball player?
I'm just looking to get stronger and, maybe go to some more showcase events so I can get noticed by some colleges and basically just play my heart out. I mean, I'm just trying to kind of just play hard every time I get a chance, and it's every time I do it usually works well, and when I don't, it doesn't work too good.
All right, I want to get to know you a little bit off the field too. So one of the questions I'm going to ask is, if you could afford any car, what car would you want to buy?
Definitely a 2022 Chevy Corvette.
What color would you want as a car?
Probably red.
Everyone goes for the red, man. What is the sport that you wish you could play that you don't?
Football.
What is one sport that like you've tried to play or you try to kind of goof around with that you're not good at?
Basketball.
What about an Olympic sport? If there was one Olympic event that we had to put you in, what would you want it to be?
Something with track.
What's your favorite thing to do in the summer outside of baseball?
Probably just hang out with my friends, hitting the batting cage and goof around the whole day.
What's the go-to hangout spot for you guys?
My house, probably.
What is your favorite post-game meal?
Probably Chipotle. It's pretty good. Yeah.
What's the go-to order there?
Is you get burrito, steak, cheese, the salsa, guacamole, corn, lettuce, and whatever else is on there.
All right, you're a catcher, so who is your favorite catcher of all time?
Probably Jorge Posada, or maybe Pudge Rodriguez.
Who is your favorite overall professional athlete of all time?
All time? I'd say probably either Bryce Harper or Mike Trout right now.
What is one thing that you spend a lot of money on that you probably shouldn't?
Food.
What was your last impulse buy?
Probably food.
I love it. What's that one fast food place when you're driving you can't resist pulling into?
McDonald's.
What's the go-to order at McDonald's?
Probably just a 1/4-pound burger with a bunch of fries and a nice pop.
You agree that the 1/4 pounder is way superior than the Big Mac, though, right? Like the Big Mac's overrated, people.
Yeah. Not that good.
True or false? Coke from McDonald's hits different.
Yeah, that's true.
What fast food place has the best milkshakes?
Probably Chick-fil-A.
What about the best fries? Who has the best fries?
McDonald's.
Man, we're not the healthiest bunch of people in the world right now. What about go-to desserts, like a sweet tooth that you got?
Probably just some candy out of the candy, and maybe some Skittles or M&Ms. It's the easiest. So,
What's your the favorite candy of all time?
probably some sort of chocolate. I don't know, maybe something from Gorance or something, maybe like that. Maybe some chocolate potato chips, maybe.
What's your favorite flavor of Gatorade?
I eat lemon lime or blue.
If Gatorade came to you and said, "We need you to make a flavor," what flavor do you kind of wish they had that they don't?
Bubble gum.
Oh, I like it. That was quick.
He had that loaded,
He
man.
had that thought about.
He knew that off the top of his head. He had that loaded.
About that for a really long time. I actually emailed Gatorade one time, really when I was young, and I said, "Why don't you have a bubblegum flavor?" And they didn't respond to me. So kind of just
He's waiting on it.
He's
Gatorade.
waiting on it.
Let's
Gatorade.
get some responses back. What do we do?
He needs some Pepto Bismol flavored Gatorade right now. What kind of things do you like to do outside of sports to kind of keep yourself entertained?
Watch TV, lift weights, probably play video games, hang out with my friends, swim, stuff like that. Drive the car.
What's the go-to show that you binge watch on the streaming service?
Probably Family Feud.
What's a guilty pleasure, either TV show, movie, or song that you have on your playlist or that you stream?
Probably Power by Kanye West.
All right. I like it. What would your walk-up song be?
Either that or Here Comes the Boom by Nelly.
And then what song could get you hyped up no matter what the situation was?
Probably Still by Dr. Dre.
All right, real quick, let's get into some of your teammates. What teammates can make you laugh no matter what the situation is?
On my Canfield team or Astro?
You can go either way.
On my Canfield team, probably Tyler Rarick, Brock Baker, probably Shaw, and then 3 from my Astro team, probably Hayden Warmouth, Ryan DeLulo, and Colton Rourke.
What teammate would you trust the most to be a getaway driver?
Probably Dom Perry.
All right, Dylan, before we let you go, I want to give you a chance to shout out your support system and the people that are always there for you.
I'm just thankful for both of my parents, my sister, and for supporting me no matter what, no matter where I go. My grandparents, they're always there. Supporting me. My aunt, they're always supporting me, always cheering me on, and wishing me to do my best.
Dylan, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Congratulations on a great start to this summer. We hope it continues for you. We'll be covering you all season on YSN, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for what you guys do.
Dylan Mancini from the Astro Falcon 16U team joining us live on Running Point, and that'll actually do it for Running Point. We had interviews from 12:45 to now. That'll do it. We went over the schedule for tonight. If you missed it, head over to ysnlive.com/live to see all the games that'll be on the network tonight. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next from 2 to 3. Power Hour from 3 to 4. And then a bunch of baseball and one softball game on tonight from BCB and Scene Park and Pemberton Park as well. So we're going to take a 22-hour break. We'll be back tomorrow from 12 to 2. Brian Tolar, Scotty Mincher, some other fun guests that we have planned for you tomorrow. Until then, see you all next time. And thank you so much for tuning in.